I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan your own hands can land.
Man, feeling well, man.
What's your name?
My name is Courtney Kemp.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You're a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17 Pennsylvania Avenue. The legendary Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brung it out. We fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food. Huh?
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows.
Yes, sir.
We got more than we can.
What's high within San Antonio, Winchester community, but the age group is getting younger. Children under the age of 18 being murdered in San Antonio has a high peak right now. So our goal is to catch the children. Damn.
You going hard, man. You going hard on that man today. So what do you think, Mr. Mayor? You got manufacturing right here, helping our young people despite all of the challenges in the city of Baltimore, right here on North Avenue.
Nah, it's really about the growth. Just knowing being there when they were down in Port Covington and seeing how far it's grown. Like you said earlier, like getting the Soul Bay, you know, where we got the Soul Bay at the beginning, but now being able to, when I'm at Camden Yards, get it, or anytime I'm down at Harbor Place to get it, and folks to not even know, but they gonna know now that like this is coming from young people in West Baltimore, right there in West Baltimore on North Avenue, where they think nothing great comes from, but they can see it with the young people.
If you work for it, it's only worth it if you work for it.
Here on the Miami, Mississippi, down right here in Prince Floyd, Mathis. A beautiful town, just leaving Algiers, which is an update 10 years since Katrina. The news before. All right, y'all, this is what I came to New York for. Besides the Black Wall Street Awards, we're going in here and get some of this real good jerk chicken. Johnny Glover, out.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me.
But we need to feed our loved ones. Docs needs to rescind this package policy program so that our loved ones are able to eat every day in that filthy facility.
We have some stars in the building.
I feel like no one takes it.
All right, we're a little late getting started today, but nonetheless, top of the morning to you. First name's Doni, last name's Glover, entered the winner for the long haul, baby. We got a special guest today, Akio Evans. I'm dressed down because he's an artiste, and artists don't really respect people in shirt and ties. But listen, before we get to that, we got a special guest online. Over the weekend, there was a situation where it was a hate crime. Long story short, up in Taneytown. If you're from West Baltimore, East Baltimore, we don't really know what Taneytown is. So on the phone, we got Deep Throat. Deep Throat, where is Taneytown?
Well, it's actually Tawnytown.
Tawnytown, okay.
Tawnytown is 13 miles west of Westminster in Carroll County. It's the home seat of the Supreme Court judge, Judge Tawney, who was the judge that made the decision on Plessy versus Ferguson that said Negroes was nothing but a property chattel.
My God.
Yeah, was the seat of the Ku Klux Klan.
The Ku Klux Klan.
All right, the seat of it in the 50s.
Okay, so what happened this weekend?
Well, we had a hate crime. We have a situation right here in our backyard. We talk about George Floyd and we have Freddie Gray. We have a situation right here in our backyard, a straight up hate crime. A young black man, 20 years old, no criminal history at all, had a job, living in Tontitown, had a white girlfriend, well known. A person there didn't like it, chased him down, road raged him. They got out of the car. The young black man called 911, so everything on tape. Got out of the car. The young black man asked, "Why are you hitting my car? Why are you road raging me?" The person, the white person, Mr. Moore, said, because it's on a 911 tape, because niggers don't belong in Tontitown. And my man, the black kid, did what young black kids do, no matter what ethnicity you are. They are walking fights ready to happen. And he heard nigger, and the fight broke out. Now, Mr. Moore had a gun in his waist belt. Young black man even went past the gun, started a fight. Some seconds later, Mr. Moore's girlfriend pulls up to the fight. How she got there, how she knew, we don't know. She has a gun. Mr. Dabbs, Devon Dabbs, the 20-year-old black kid, gets in a fight with her because it's two of them. There's four people in the fight. They struggling over the gun. The girl pulled it. Now, here's where the whitewash of the story starts. Black people, pay attention. Pay attention. This is in your backyard. This is 2024. This is not 1924. This is 2024. This is in your backyard. This is where the whitewash started. Now, they say that the black guy jumps from one fight to the other fight, takes the gun from the girl, beats her up, and shoots everybody. Man, Jason Bourne couldn't even do that. This kid is something. But actually what happened is the fight started. I'm a struggle over the gun. She's got her hand on the gun. We've seen these things. We know this. She shoots him in the leg. Randomly, indiscriminately, she shoots another couple shots, but they whitewashing it. Pay attention, black people. It's in your backyard. This is a pure hate thing. Now they whitewashing it because they're saying they got it. Oh, here, check this out, black people. Two white people show up to a fight with guns on a hate crime thing, straight hate crime. It's on 911. One of them get killed. Black kid don't have no gun, don't have no criminal history, don't even have a problem with white people. His girlfriend white, two people in the car are white. He gets charged with murder, first-degree murder. Pay attention, black people. At the best, if this was even what happened, the most could happen is manslaughter. Black people, you got some really good lawyers listening. They know that. In the day when I came through, black lawyers were right up there.
You saying back in the day, lawyers from the black community would have been out there fighting, like George McMecken, that they named McMecken Street after, or Ashby Hawkins, or Thurgood Marshall. Who are the Thurgood Marshalls of today?
If it ain't a paycheck, I'm not sure. We got some really good lawyers who do really good things and who will really be the ones that I like to see that, but they was probably preoccupied. So
put
it that way. And then another thing is they didn't know the story because they heard the whitewash. So let me correct myself, because there are half a dozen really find more lawyers who has been up there, but they heard the whitewash. They heard the hero white boy got killed by a black murderer who didn't have a gun. And so the whitewash, because this happened in an instant now. So, but black lawyers out there, come on, go to Westminster.
So it seems to me that the young white lady, according to the law, is complicit in the murder of the white guy.
Absolutely. And it was a self-defense thing all the way anyway.
But if anybody should catch a charge, it would be her.
It would be her for manslaughter.
For manslaughter.
Absolutely.
Because
she brought the gun.
She brought the gun to the fight.
She had her hand on the gun. She had her hand on the gun.
And it also is a reminder, as we say on the streets of Baltimore, a punk with a gun is a man. What you gonna do when you ain't got that gun? What you gonna do in that jail cell?
Yeah.
So
right on Independence Day.
If you ain't gonna handle that gun, don't pick it up. Because
don't pick it up.
That's life and death.
Life and death. I tell them boys all the time, because I know them boys. I say, look, y'all really good at rabbits, squirrels, and deers, but them kids, they got life and death. They condition. And the rabbit got the gun, baby. You know, but she did the wrong thing. She did absolutely the wrong thing. Both of them did.
But
the whole thing was something wrong.
But right now, 20-year-old Davon Dabbs. I mean, honestly, when I first heard the story, the first thing came to mind was that movie Get Out.
Yeah.
All right, Deep Throat, we're going to get back to our interview with that regularly scheduled voice.
I'm calling black lawyers, go help this boy.
Tanning Town. On 4th of July.
Tawny Town, yeah.
Tawny Town, 4th of July.
Westminster, he's in the jail at Westminster. He's in Westminster.
And it's Westminster.
Yeah, Westminster.
Up there in Carroll County. You know, it ain't all that friendly to black folk up there. Even though we got some black folk live up there.
Yeah.
I bet you they strapped, though. All right, Deep Throat. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to get back to our regular.
Go help this black kid.
Good deal.
All right.
Thank you. All right, we had to bring you that breaking news because that's an important story, and the only one that we heard cover it was Barry Sims from Channel 11. All right, so today's guests, they see me dressed down because I knew you wasn't wearing no suit and tie. It wasn't no need in me even asking, but let me give y'all this bio. Akio Evans, fine art shoe muralist, creative director, and film producer. Akio Evans is a renowned shoe muralist. I bet y'all not even heard of that. A shoe muralist. Raised in Baltimore, East Side.
Yeah.
Whose artistic vision has graced the feet, even though I met him on the West Side, has graced the feet of celebrities such as Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Dr. Dre, and Donnie Glover. How you like that? Then we got to do a little edit here to this bio. All Evans art apparel is signed and numbered. His pieces have been collected by writers, directors. Isn't that cat from The Wire? Yeah, David Simon, Angel Williams, Ava DuVernay, Courtney Kemp, Donnell Rawlings, one funny dude. D. Watkins, Pharrell Williams. Beautiful. That's Pharrell, right?
Yeah, that's Pharrell.
I just want you. A cat down in Florida told me keep my day job. He can kick rock. Reinaldo Greene, Sascha Penn, Spike Lee, Morehouse Man, Terrell Alvin McCraney, to name a few, with a unique blend of craftsmanship and creativity. Akio's art has transcended the world of footwear to become collectibles and culture statements. Let me tell you something, man. If I pay you $7,500 for some marble, I'm not wearing them.
Exactly, bro. Yeah.
With each project, Akio continues to redefine the intersection of art, fashion, and activism, making him a sought-after name in both industries. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, Akio Evans.
Thank you, my brother. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Tell them about DMX, man. Didn't you hang out with DMX out west?
I did. That was many years ago.
What you really want? What they really want?
You know, DMX, he was a great guy when I met him, just as the same as what we would see him, but he was very, very down to earth.
Authentic?
Very authentic. You know what I mean? He had shot out of a few streets in Baltimore, and, you know, I would just you know, I looking back at that moment, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be able to, you know, connect with him, connect with the people that were out there, that were the locals, because it's more so people that's in the community that I was able to know that connected me to those moments to meet people like DMX. You know, without the guy Tony bringing me on board, seeing that I had a Belly Dickie shirt the Belly movie, for people who don't know, it's a movie that was directed by Hype Williams. When I was graduated from high school, I put those images onto a Dickies shirt, which they just now released officially with Supreme, their first official Belly movie line. But I was doing that right when I got out of high school, so I had a 20
I remember that movie.
Yes, the movie was one of the. We had a lot of movies like.
Ben
Shout out to
James
John.
was in it.
Yes. We had a lot of movies like Boys in the Hood, or but Hype Williams, he did an incredible job. Yes, he was. And Hype Williams did an incredible job with the cinematography in that film. You've seen a lot of the hues of the blues and the reds. Like his cinematography was always beautiful in the music videos, like the Missy Elliott videos and all that. But he merged all that into that classic film that we know as Belly. But yeah, DMX was cool, man. He was very cool, and I'm grateful for those opportunities.
Who is Akio Evans?
I'm I'm a man of God. I'm God fearing. I'm just a vessel that's being used to do what was placed inside me. I mean, I don't know. I change, but human beings, we change, we evolve. Like we can be one person, 1 year and evolve into something else. So I'm just grateful to be able to just be used. You know what I mean?
In a way, the same, doesn't it? The core of who that person is.
Indeed. The core was just be an all-time creative. You know what I mean? I'm a creative. The creator put people on earth to create, to use their gift. And I'm just a creative individual. I've always been, since my upbringing from East Side, Bond Street. My mother, she always instilled in us that we don't have it, you use what you have, But as time went on, I started, being envious of those who had. So I used to, take what I didn't have because I wanted to have it as a teenager. But over time, as you learn, as you grow older, if you are blessed to grow, you learn that those things that you take do not last long. But yeah, we're always changing. We're always evolving. I will hope that we are not the same as we would be. I know people have this thing where it's like, I ain't changing. I'm always going to be the same, but that's not growth. That's not actually, as a plant, a plant always, and a tree always grows new leaves, grows new branches. And that's the evolution of life, so it's powerful.
You lost your mom. What did that do to you?
That, I transformed that pain and made it into purpose, man. It was, I was in pain because it's like growing up, I've was always a documentarian, before the social media phenom, when you had a camcorder, that was something that you're like, oh, wow, you got a camera. Now we, like people like Doni, we're utilizing this technology for the greater good because we knew that it was a time where this wasn't had. Like, this is a blessing that we have on these devices. But my mother, she was a beautiful, beautiful soul. And she would be the type of person that would open the doors up to a stranger. Like if I told her that my friends didn't have a place to go, she would open up their doors and let them stay if she had an empty room or empty bed. But it did for me.
Big Daddy type action.
Yes, indeed. I'm talking about when she had it, when she was able to, she would feed the whole, not only the family, but the people in the community. My sister's coaches that came all the way from DC just to have her sweet potato. I know you was going to mention me to tell the people that the sweet potato biscuits or the homegrown Southern cooking that she learned from my grandmother, who I didn't get a chance to meet when I was, coming up because she already transitioned. But yeah, I'm not, it's, as I, have these losses with my mother and my uncle and my friends, I've noticed that I take action by working. I take action by, just try to work my pain away. So, in most cases, I didn't really get a chance to grieve when my mother passed away. I just had to keep on working. I was working a full-time job at Johns Hopkins at the time, and I was also doing my creative works. But it pushed me to what I'm doing now with making an ode to my mom with my artwork.
You worked at Johns Hopkins?
I worked at Johns Hopkins. That was one of the very first jobs that I've had. I've always had multiple jobs, but that was the longest job I ever had for about 12 years. So I started in November of
They let you up in Hopkins. Come on, man. They be doing credit checks, background checks, weed checks. They check for everything. Johns Hopkins let you up in that camp.
Yeah, yes, they did. They did, man. By the grace of God, man. Luckily for me, I was in position working at Labor Ready for a while, and at the time, my record was always showing up. So working at jobs like Labor Ready, for those who may not know about that job, they pay you about $30 to $40 for 8 hours that you may work. And these are hard labor jobs. These are jobs that they send you out to maybe help renovate a row home. You have to, bang a hammer on marble steps, and, you'll have the tingling in your arms. So, and then you're working with individuals who are trying to rebuild their lives, whether they just came home or whether they're just rehabilitating themselves from addiction. And the management of those jobs, you can imagine how they treated people who were trying to rehabilitate, no matter the skin color. You can imagine how they treated people. So I got tired of the fact that
How did they treat you?
They treated me whereas, like when you are a recovering addict, or when you are trying to get back into society to feed your family, whatever have you, if you just came home and you did a bit for 20 years. So for some people who are in authority, they may look at it, some people might look at that as a power trip. They may not necessarily pay you on time. They may know that you are desperate need for your check. So they might say, hey, sweep up that corner. They'll do the very anal. Even when you work in a regular job, you have that manager that would just be very anal about certain things, as a power trip. And that's how I got treated along with that. They didn't look at me as a human being. They look at me as either a recovering person or an addict or a criminal. They didn't look at me as a human being. So in most cases, that's what they would deal with. They would deal with people who just came home and all that. So anyway, I got tired of that, man. Even in places I couldn't even work at McDonald's because of my record. So then when I went to Hopkins, I didn't start immediately at the Johns Hopkins University. I had to work my way on up. I started in nutrition. Nutrition is where you first walk in. When people may work for their people in the hospital and they go to the food section, that's the nutrition department. The nutrition department is a part of Hopkins, but it's not actually in that union of the Hopkins. So when I started in nutrition, I was getting paid $200 maybe every 2 weeks. $150 every 2 weeks at Hopkins, not the official Hopkins. I'm talking about nutrition. Nutrition was different from the hospital, right? But it's still in the hospital. So anyway, but I was happy because guess what? That was a little bit more bump than when I was getting paid $30 to $40.
So I remember.
In 2010, because that was.
And you never complained.
I didn't complain. I just worked my way on up, and then guess what happened? That hard work paid off because someone see me. God had put somebody's eyes on me. Someone see me. This lady named Miss Tanya. Shout out to Miss Tanya. Again, talking about community. Whether people connect you with people who are in the industry or whether people connect you in the industry where they feel like you belong during the workforce. So Miss Tanya, she seen me and she saw that I had cut my finger with a butcher knife. And at that time, like I said, it's not Hopkins. So they had me still on the line, wrapping burritos with a latex glove. And she seen that work ethic, whereas even before the injury had happened, I was always working hard because most people around 12 noon after the rush, everybody is the very first one that want to take their break. And I was the only one that was behind the line. I ran the line and then I did the cashier. So she said, yo, I see you working hard. Hey, look, they're opening jobs at Johns Hopkins University that pays a lot more, that gives you benefits. This job, they're paying you under the table. I feel like you should apply. I said, well, I got a record. She said, look, I think you should apply. It's not who you know. It's not what you know. It's who you know. Apply and let's just see what happens. I applied immediately. I didn't wait another day. And guess what? They were in desperate need to fill the position, which was cage wash. The guy, shout out to Rick Roback. He was from Boston, tall, guy that, I always say that he looked like the Zangief from Street Fighter. It's funny because, him and I, we had our growing pains as well. He was a manager, but from Boston. So anyway, he hired me. He said, hey, man, listen, I see that you have some things here, but, we need people. And he got me in. And then by me working there for a while, I worked my way on up. So I had celebrity friends that I would know, and they were like, "Hey man, that's why you got to quit your job." I'm like, "Do you know when I worked at Hopkins?" And Donnie, you knew me. You met me in 2010. I worked at Hopkins in 2010, and in that small time frame, I was able to work my way on up from working with CD Witherspoon and you. Then I worked at Hopkins, and I was able to be there. But in a way, Hopkins and me operating in my gift had saved my life in a way, because I was always felt like I needed to be on the block. Even when you, Donnie, when we were working for those time frame when we was servicing the community over West Baltimore for Coppin State University for that stuff that we needed to do. You were even trying to pull me into new directions of saying, yo, I want to expose you to this. I want to expose you to that. I want you to see people who are successful that look like us.
You showed up because I offered that opportunity to a couple, maybe 3.
And I'm the only one that showed up, bro.
You're the only one who showed up. You were hungry. And how could I leave you?
Indeed. But that exposure, I still remember, still to this day. You had got me and even though you don't like me saying this, you got me my first official suit. All the suits that I've had as an adult, I didn't even have a suit as an adult, but my first suit that I had as an adult.
To God be the glory.
To God be the glory. You got me those. He was like, hey man, you can't come to these lawyers are passing the bar. I'm sorry, I wouldn't mind. You know me, I'm all for both. But we gotta get you.
But you were willing
to
change uniforms.
Indeed.
You could have been like, because sometimes what they say, attitude. But I only passed on to you, and you done paid it forward multiple times since then.
Indeed, I have.
You've the only thing I remember asking you was who you passed the ball to.
Yep. That's exactly what you said. You said, just remember. You know what I mean? Just remember to give it to someone. Give what I gave to you, give it to someone. And I feel like with Hopkins, it was a chapter that was open and needed to close, and I was grateful for that opportunity. I feel like that had saved my life in a way, because I felt like I still needed to be on the block. I still feel like I needed to be connected to those individuals that was outside, because I was like, wow, I spent most of my time outside. But God said, hey, look, I'm giving you a limited amount of time to work this 8-hour job. And then when you get home, you still like to operate and do what you do as far as with the clothing or video editing. So you got to make up your mind whether you want to do your job that you have to do and just get better at your gift. And that was the best decision I could have ever made, because it helped me get focused, And, so for me, it wasn't a job. It was a way of really, really rebuilding what I feel like I should have been doing when I graduated out of high school. And I wish I would have took education serious. I wish I would have been like, yo, this is a privilege, you know what I mean, for us to be able to learn, because our ancestors didn't have this opportunity. It's so much that goes into just the education piece that I wish I would have, learned early on compared to me now.
That's debatable.
I know what you're saying. But we need.
It's debatable because your experiences were a part of your education.
That's true. That's very well true.
If you were stuck in a classroom, you would not have gone to Australia.
That's true.
I remember when you came back from Australia, and all of a sudden you have it's accent.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You're over there with Crocodile Dundee. You were coming back. You said, like, man, you're in East Baltimore, and you were like, would you like go out and party with a black queen tonight? I was like, go ahead, Keo.
I ain't about that.
Would you like to go out and party with a black queen tonight?
Those experiences, man, even in Australia.
How did that feel? East Baltimore to Australia, hanging with kangaroos.
I ain't see a kangaroo in sight, man. Believe it or not, Australia is like a city.
Artwork, though.
Australia is like a city like this.
Tell them about that alley where the artwork thing went down.
I'm about to get there, and that's what I'm saying too. I wouldn't say more so the experiences of Australia did prep me, but it still was God that allowed me to be there, because they was about to not allow me to be on the borders because of my record, my criminal record. So when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, when I graduated from high school, my friend said he was going to Phoenix, and he went and I stayed. That's what we just talked about this, Donnie. He showed up and I stayed. And when I stayed in Baltimore for those 4 years, for 2 to 3 years, because he came back in 2 years, because he came back in 2004. So when we graduated from 2002, he left. My friend Jazz, he left to go to Phoenix, Arizona, and I stayed. And when I stayed, I had my house raided from what I was doing in the past. I had got tattoos. Everything changed within a small span of 2 years. So the Australia trip, right? What was a premonition for me when I finally got to Australia and they had stopped me at the border and they said, "Hey man, what you doing here, Mike?" And I lied and I said that I'm going to donate my artwork, which was a lie at the time. I didn't think I was going to donate my artwork. And also I said I'm going to a wedding, which I was going to go to a wedding. I'm talking to them, as we know, Baltimore, we have charm City, we have charm. We can charm our way into whatever you want to say, right? So I'm talking to the guy at the border because I didn't check the box that I was convicted of a crime, because you can see everything on the documentation. When you fill out that work class visa and it's a 6th class visa, you can see everything. I'm talking to them and he was like, "You know what, Mott, you seem like a good light. Enjoy, Mott, lad." And they gave me my passport and they said, "But hey, I got to let you know." He pointed to the line over there. It was a few people. It was 2 people on that phone looking down. I'm sending those people back because they did what you did. They wasn't being honest. He said, "But I got a good vibe from you." So then when I'm walking through, and I got this video on my Facebook, I'm filming me walking into the Virgin Islands of Australia. I'm like, wow. I mean, the Virgin, we're boarding the plane because I was late to board my plane. So they had to put me on a lower level to go up the steps. I said, wow, like this is miracle territory. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it was purpose of me being out here. So when I finally was in Australia, when I finally went to the Hosea Lane, and I seen the signs that said you cannot pass people who are sitting in a lane, because it's dedicated to the Aboriginals. It's dedicated to the people who are homeless because their land was taken away. You can't pass them. If you're going to go into this tourist graffiti alley type of lane, you have to contribute. And when I'm saying that, that's when it hit me. I said, wow, I was homeless in Phoenix, Arizona. And these people are homeless. And when I didn't go to college, which I was supposed to do when I was in Phoenix, I didn't go left. I went right. I didn't show up. The circumstances of me not showing up and going to college, what I was supposed to do when I went out to Phoenix, Arizona in the first place, I went right. And that got me into the same trouble, like I told you, when I stayed back in Baltimore for 2 years, that amplified. I got locked up more times in Phoenix, Arizona than I did in Baltimore. And I've been in Baltimore my whole entire life. That's what I'm saying, that the value. My experiences when I went to Australia, it hit me like, oh, wow, I got to do something. I got to make good on my promise. So then I went to Youth Projects, which is an organization that's in the alley. And they help you. You can help the homeless. And I said, hey, I would like to donate some artwork here. And it was like, okay. So I did some Gene Wilder had just passed away, which was Richard Pryor's one of Richard Pryor's best friend. So I made the Chuck Taylors. What's that? The Chocolate Factory, Chuck Taylors. And then when I made those Chuck Taylors, I donated to Youth Projects. So that way the proceeds can go to the homeless in the alley. And as I left the alley, after I finished making the shoes and donating to them, I went to this book bag company that this guy, Koki Sally, runs called Beekeeper Parade. And he's seen what I did for Youth Projects. He said, hey, man, would you like to collaborate with me? Can you do the same type of theme, like a book bag? And the proceeds can go to kids that weren't necessary to get an education in Cambodia. So you see what happened there? I lied and said I'm going to donate my art, but that was in a way of manifestation where God was like, no, but you're going to make good on your promise because you're not supposed to be here. You could have been just as the same as those people that were sitting there that had to go back. You had an LOA from Hopkins. But I chose that if I did have to come back to Baltimore and not go to Australia for the 30 days that I went, that I was going to make the point to figure out how to be financially independent. So all things work together for our good. And I'm not ashamed that I felt like, the only reason why I feel like I wanted to have the education.
Hey, man.
C.D. Witherspoon, salute. The only reason why I feel like I wanted to have the education was because I want to pass something greater to the youth. But it's still great because I'm passing the experiences that I've had that I didn't, like you said, Donnie, showing up. You know, so that experience alone.
You were willing to show up there on Billy Murphy's law office.
That's true indeed, bro. True indeed, man. And similar to what an interview that I seen D. Watkins write about, you can't throw people away. And in an immediate Yo, you was patient with me. CD Witherspoon was patient with me because there was moments where we had out. Hey, yo, look,
and I was patient with him. Hey, CD, don't get no ideas.
and we would have our moments too. And I would come to CD, and you would like, and you just look at me with your chin up, like, and like, come on, man, this is gonna be the real world, young man. So it was beautiful, man.
We helped each other. We helped each other.
Yes, we
did. We were family. We are family.
Yes, brother. Yes, man. And then
and with CD. If you don't get in the fight with CD, he ain't gonna respect you anyway. You know he's a bully. You know he's a bully. And he's a bully with a Bible, so you really got to be on your P's and Q's.
Oh man, that's true. That's what I got here though, Donnie. I got my you know what I'm saying? I got it right here. You know what I mean? So yeah, we in that, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna put this out there for CD. CD, you should come on this show. I'm gonna put the link in the comment section there, CD, if you want to come on in. But CD was our fearless leader back. Matter of fact, he got us both an employment opportunity, make some money. I forgot what we were canvassing at the time.
Canvassing, yep.
I want you to comment on this line here. Your gift will make room for you. What does that mean to you?
Man, that means a lot, man. That means a lot. I can just give you a recent experience that
because a lot of times we think we don't bring anything to the table. And just as I was posing that question to you, the song, the Christmas song, "Little Drummer Boy" comes to mind. You have no gift to bring, bum.
Yes, man.
But he brought his drums. That's what his gift was. And whatever you do, if you sweep trash, be the best street sweeper. If you play drums, be the best drummer. And by the way, shout out to Dennis Chambers from Baltimore, the greatest drummer in the world. What does your gift will make room for you mean?
Your gift will make room. Before I share the story, your gift will make room means so much, man. And you will have to really be immersed in the gift that you have in order to actually be used in a way where it's not just blessing you, it's blessing others, right? You're not necessarily servicing you, you're servicing others. And then when you do service others, or repetition deepens the impression, when you continue to have the repetition of servicing and operating in your gift, then before you know it, you're like, oh, wow. So I'll share the story that I'm talking about, because my gift had made room for me in many different occasions, many times in my life.
Man, you have millionaires eating out the palm of your hand, man, begging you for your tennis shoes.
Humbly, that I'm grateful for that, but it's I'm looking at it in a way where
you be hanging out with Dave Chappelle backstage. What's up, Dave?
That was dope. That was dope. But I look at it like that was something that actually, as you just shared that's for the purpose of you bringing it up to inspire that your gift can make room for you no matter where you are. When I was in LA in March, I was just recently out there about 2 weeks ago. But when I was out there in March, man, God is so good, yo. The thing, it's so wild, bro. So wow. Okay, so I was out there in March, and somebody that I know, she's actually in a play. It was called Black Cypress Bayou, and oh man, I'm trying to take my time when I say this because it's so powerful, so amazing, man. So I'm chilling. I'm there at the Geffen. I'm at the play, and we couldn't. Me and this one lady, we couldn't be in the auditorium because UCLA was in the auditorium. And it reached the capacity. So we had to sit out there in the lobby. So me and this lady, I don't know this lady, but we're just looking at the play from the actual monitor screen. So we're looking at the screen, and she's saying, hey, so who do you know? And I said, well, I know the understudy. She's, acting for the main role, but she's just as good, right? And she said, oh, wow, she is good. So then she said, what's your name? And she knew how to say my name off the brick. She's like Akio. And then we just talking. I don't know who this lady is. And in walks in is Terrell Alvin McCraney. Terrell Alvin McCraney, he's a writer, director, filmmaker, Oscar award winner, director, filmmaker. of the movie Moonlight, and he also did the series called David Makes Man. He did a lot of plays, but he walks in, he went straight to her. Didn't know why, didn't ask, but he went straight to her, started talking to her. He had his coffee in his hand, and then he went along his way. But while he was talking to her, I had my phone in my hand, and I pulled up the artwork that I did for Terrell Alvin McCraney in 2021. And I didn't get a chance to meet Terrell Alvin McCraney. Every time that I do artwork, my artwork always ends up on the movie sets or production studios, or me being in the hands of a Dr. Dre or whoever before I even get a chance to meet them. So when they finished talking, I waited a few seconds, and then I said, hey, you know that guy you were just speaking to? She's like, yeah. I said, hey, I did these for him in 2021. She said, oh my God, you did those? They were Stan Smiths. They had Terrell's first movie on there. It was like telling a whole entire story on these Adidas Stan Smiths. She said, why didn't you say anything? I said, well, I didn't want to say anything because y'all was talking. She said, did you get a chance to meet him? I said, nah. She said, you know what? When he comes back down here, he's the artistic director here at the Geffen. When he comes back down here, you better speak to him, or else I'm going to say something. She reminded me of Peggy Bundy, all right? You know what I mean? So then I'm like, all right, I bet I got that. So I went up. She came downstairs.
Who's Peggy Bundy?
Peggy Bundy was from this old Fox series called Married with Children. And you had Al Bundy.
Al Bundy, okay. Yeah, Al's wife.
Yeah, Al's wife. You know what I mean? So she was an older version of Peggy Bundy. So then
alpha female.
Yes. So then Terrell walks back downstairs, and I see him, and I didn't hesitate. I went over there to him. I already still had the pictures up on my phone. I say, hey man, I did these shoes for you, man. I just want to let you know, man, that I always meet my artwork, always meet people before he's like, oh man, wow, I still have those shoes, man. They're actually in my office in a glass case. He said, man, honored to meet you, brother. Thank you for stopping me. We embraced, we hugged. I went to the Q&A, and the girl who I'm seeing, we went to a dinner. And then while I was at the dinner, I get a message from the shoe surgeon. Who's the shoe surgeon, you may ask? The shoe surgeon is Dominic Chambron. He's been doing like shoes for like LeBron, Javon, Tank. He's been doing shoes for anybody you can name. And he charges like anywhere between $172K for shoes because they're put into a glass case, and the shoes are donated to charities for nonprofit or schools. So whereas though if LeBron wears the shoes or LeBron
he's better than you.
You know what I mean? Just listen, man. So it's wild because since I've known about Dominic, since I've known about the shoe surgeon, I would like add them into a story. Like when you add people, you can add people in a story. You can hide their name. You can just add them and they'll just acknowledge it because people want to know what you are saying. He's very accessible. Dominic Chambron, he's very accessible online. So he's known about me, and I've known about him since 2019 about me just engaging in his content. And he will even message me randomly, or sometimes when I do post like those viral videos that I make with my shoes, he'll keep up the good work. And then every time I went to LA, I only went to LA at that time only twice. And I always would want to meet Dominic. And then if you remember, Donnie, earlier in 2024, I applied to be in the Supreme Sneakerhead contest where I was attempting to win a contest. The contest was by him and Oceana and Jeff Goldblum. And whoever won the contest, they get a chance to win $10K, and they get a chance to collaborate with the shoe surgeon. Here it is, it's March. I didn't win the contest, all right? I didn't win the contest. But here it is, I'm in LA, I'm at a dinner, I get a DM from the shoe surgeon. He is actually on courtside with Linda Rubin, who I was just with. And then he puts the camera up, and LeBron is like right there on courtside at the Lakers game. He said, hey man, Linda, you know Linda Rubin. I don't know who Linda Rubin is, but that's the Peggy Bundy I'm talking about that wouldn't stop. She said she won't stop talking about you and how you do the shoes, bro. Meet me tomorrow at my headquarters. His headquarters is called the Surgeon Academy, where he does like workshops. In order to take the workshop, you're paying like 13 or 14 grand. I mean, 1,400 to be able to take the workshop. You have a dinner. It's like a whole week or 2 week thing where you just get a chance to learn how to sew. You get a chance to learn how to deconstruct the whole entire shoe. And yeah, so anyway, I say all that to say that my gift made room for me. The thing that I did in 2021, I just shared that with the lady Linda Rubin, so happened to be an investor of the shoe surgeon. And also she's a 8-time award-winning, Tony award-winning thing. She's got like so many awards. She's the hit bigwig of anything that you see at Broadway. She's like a bigwig, and I didn't even know who I was talking to. But here it is. My gift made room for me. Here it is. I just had an open conversation. Here it is. Me and her were the only ones in the lobby speaking with each other. And I said, something told me, Spirit told me, they said, hey, share with her what you did for Terrell. And it just so happened that I already did work for Terrell. So that's what I mean. And that's just one story. I have many few, but that's just one story of your gift will make room, because it was my gift that she seen, that she wouldn't stop talking about me, that he couldn't even deny me even if he tried. You know how many times I wanted to meet him? Then we wound up meeting. And then he was like, and then he was praising me. You know why? Because probably, you never know. You never know. You just, I want to say
he has to get inspiration from somewhere.
Yeah. So it was powerful, bro. And but my outline of how I do what I do, as far as like with the workshops, he has, and many other creatives, they've inspired me to do workshops, whereas though we do upcycle workshops. I recently did a workshop at Cahill. Was it Cahill Recreational Center? You know what I said? Cahill.
West Side.
Yeah, man. So anyway, these kids, we all created these. They did this by themselves. And as you know, safety pins is something that I incorporate into my shoes. But man, the kids were so brilliant. I learned so much from them. But I collaborated with Bopa to create these pieces where it's just one shoe. One shoe is an art piece. So, back in the day, as you've been following my journey, I would make a whole pair. Now, because people are saying like, oh no, yo, this is art. Like I'm not going to wear this. Now, maybe sometimes I only do one shoe and I put it in the display case, and that's the art piece as well. So it's
because you've had to get smarter, and as you get older, you're realizing your physical limitations.
That too, and that you don't have to work so much into putting a whole thing together, and also teaching collecting
for years.
Yes, but now I'm being more alert of just teaching the concept of collecting and not consuming, because we can be collectors of art, but we don't have to consume all the time by just the trends. We can, more of us, we need to, support the Jean-Michel Basquiat or the Curry Marshalls, or, the Tom Millers of of today. And then some people don't know about Tom Miller. Some people, so what I do is they call me, of course, the shoe muralist. So I put the murals onto the shoes. And when I was out there at Yellow Springs, Dave Chappelle seen my loafer murals that had Tom Miller's artwork. If you ever go on North Avenue, Harford Road, you'll see that legendary mural of the black man reading the book. But I was able to bring that mural that's on North Avenue on Harford Road to Yellow Springs. Didn't know that Dave Chappelle was going to see it. Like, yo, they some cold loafers, man. I'm like, yeah, this is a mural. So I'm bringing that mural to different places. Yeah, you can come to Baltimore, but I'm bringing Baltimore to you. You're going to see Baltimore right on my feet, because some people, they'll walk past a mural and not see it. You know what I mean? People are always looking at your outfit. Like you said, Don, hey, man, I'm just down today. Or they're looking at your shoes. And when they look at your shoes can tell a story. Or when they're looking at your office can actually tell the story. So you're actually hanging artwork in your homes when you bring people at your most intimate space in your place. So it's like, why not? Your story and your signature is the most powerful thing. So I bring the story, to bring glory to the city of Baltimore in a more positive light. And you're still sharing the negative, but sharing the negative of what we came through. We had to go through the fire. Donnie, you went through the fire so many moments in your life, with our conversations online, that if people knew what you be going through, bro, they'd be like, yo, how do you show up every day? How do you show up every day?
You better.
It's like, yo.
Hey, look, you done hijacked this interview long enough. What would your mom say now to you? Having seen this body of work, what would she say now?
I would say she would probably say that, wow, you're my glorious hero. Because she named me Akio, because Akio means glorious hero. It's her name and my name intertwined. So she would probably say, yeah, because I remember when she said, Keo, your name means glorious hero and it means bright man. And my twin sister was like, bright? Ain't nothing bright about him, because I was always doing crazy stuff. But with me, and then Doni, you always like to be in the share this too. She would be proud of me, man, because she seen me when I was smoking cigarettes. I stopped smoking cigarettes in 2010. She seen me when I was smoking cigarettes at like 9, 8, 7 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. She always just said, Keo, I can't stop you smoking, but I gotta let you know that it's a bad habit, because she used to smoke. she would see me drinking at like 9 or 10 years old. Know that she didn't see me. I'm sorry. She would know that I was drinking. She couldn't prove it, but so when I stopped drinking, June 14th, 2019. Man, she would be so proud of what I've been able to do because I say, man, I don't want to repeat a pattern. I know that I had family that was taken away, and I want to break the curse. I want to be able to still bless myself when I have, when I feel like the time is right. But she would be so like amazed because the success started to happen when she transitioned, and to know that I'm honoring her name and knowing that Dr. Dre and all these people that I got a chance to do stuff for, that they have a piece of her now in their studio, in their home, in their place, in their working space. Every piece that I've made, it has, she's with them because I honor her in those pieces. I put the tags on the left side, honor her. Her name is on the left side of each and every tag because that's where the heart beats, because she died of a heart attack. So she would be like, what, Keo? She was always emotional because she was a Pisces, but she would just be so proud, man. But
my daughter's a Pisces. Look, I gotta ask you about Tiny Tim. Ain't no way we can do this interview in Baltimore and don't acknowledge Tiny Tim, considering all that he meant to you and means to you. Who was Tiny Tim?
Uncle Tiny Tim Harris, man. He was a person that made sure that I knew my value before I knew my value. He would always say, man, Keo, don't ever trust the niggas, N-E-G-U-S. He always would say that. He would spit the real. He would always like challenge me, like how you do, Donnie. He would challenge, like, you want to be an actor? Okay, let me see you act. Cry on the spot. He was like, look in the mirror. Actor knows how to play in the emotion. So, man, we had incredible moments. He was a historian, and the Lady in the Lake team, they contacted me to tell me that, hey, tell your uncle that his interview at the museum has inspired how we wanted to make this film, The Lady in the Lake. They said that, and I thought that when my Uncle Tim was talking about how you open up for Richard Pryor, or he was friends with Dick Gregory, or all these stories, I thought that, well, okay. But then when he transitioned and, my cousin Aaron cleaned his apartment out, he had these, I'm talking about fresh obituaries of Dick Gregory. I'm talking about Red Fox. I'm like, what? So he made me watch Red Fox, not because he was just a fan, but he was like, he used to be in Baltimore. So, and then when I see people like Webster honoring his dad, who was a photographer who shot photos of Baltimore, Pennsylvania, legendary Pennsylvania Avenue, and you see Red Fox, rare photos, archive photos being in Baltimore. He said, no, Baltimore is like my home. He claimed Baltimore like it was his own. So that's why my uncle was like bigging him up all the time. And then people got to understand, yeah, they were celebrities, but celebrities back in the day, when you had the Chitlin Circuit, you had all these things.
They couldn't stay at the hotels. You couldn't stay at these places. They stayed in their houses, like on Carlton Avenue.
Bro, so you said the same thing my uncle said, bro. And that's how some of them, like Cab Calloway, that's why some of them had homes here. And of course, some of the homes are Cab Calloway. I'm so upset that we didn't do nothing with that property. But yeah, man, I got my uncle ring on today. You know what I mean? I always make sure that, I honor him, and it's some synchronicities with him as well that I've already took too much of your time. But with the Richard Pryor thing, it's really amazing. And while he was still living, I honored him, and that was the blessing that was connected to me going to LA the second time when I had the stuff on Bel Air, this television show. But no, thank you for that, man. Thank you for shouting my uncle out.
So look, people are materialistic. What was the first sale that you made where you knew you were at a higher level? Was it $250? Was it $250,000? What was that first number? You like, ooh, I can pay some bills. I can get ahead. I can go to Terra Cafe, get me a fish sandwich. What was that first sale?
I would say the first sale
that you knew you had, like, wow, that one. I remember I got a $7,500 one. I think I shared it with you. It was wow, all from a phone call. Because we talk about relationships. What was that first one?
I think that it was probably your gift will make room. The gift will make room. Kwame Patterson, he's an actor that played on a monk. He's an actor that played as Monk on The Wire. And I remember when he first seen my work, because Snoop had shared it again randomly. And he was like, hey, man, I got to get a pair of your shoes. I said, okay. I said, I charge this much at that time. And he was just like, oh, okay, what up? I mean, you know, I get, and as we know, royalties aren't for actors, as what we learned from the writer's strike, is not a lot. You know what I mean? So he was like, I can't do it at this time, bro. But look, when I get this big lump sum, I got you. But Spirit whispered in my ear, then you always want to go to LA. Why don't you meet him halfway? So why don't you do something? Why don't you give your gift away? Because it's not for you to say when you're going to give it away. So I said, hey, man, look, I'm willing to work with you halfway. Can we do X, Y, Z? He said, yeah, man, I can do that. So then I wound up going to LA the same weekend that Kobe Bryant had passed away. Was able to meet up with him and deliver the shoes. We did the unboxing. That was in 2019. 2019 of February, I got a message from one of his friends that was at his birthday party, because his birthday was around the same weekend, but I wasn't able to make it because I had to go back to Baltimore. And she said, hey, man, what's the guy that was just here? Is he not at your party? He was like, no, he went back to Baltimore. Man, I want him to do something for one of my friends. He said, okay, well, here's his contact. She gave me a call. She said, hey, what would you do if you was to make something for a person that may be a big fan of Dr. Dre's? And I got a chance to talk to her like you and I are talking, and she got a chance to know my spirit, know me. And she said, you know what? I don't know. I was tripping. I didn't know what type of person you is, but I feel connected to you. These are going to be for Dr. Dre. Tell me what price you were going to do, and we can just go from there. So that was something, right? But what if I didn't give my gift away? What if I didn't say? So that was one thing, right? So fast forward to March 2020, that's when the pandemic happened. So Dr. Dre didn't get his shoes right away during his birthday because everybody had to be closed off. But the very first day that we had our outing was in March. That's when he had took the photos with the shoes. But the gift didn't stop there. So that was March 2020. So all the way up until November 2020, I was trying to get a vehicle because I was commuting back and forth to PA to New York, and I needed a vehicle. And I remember somebody told me, well, look, you're going to at least need what you just said, about $7,000 or probably like $5,000 at least to get, the vehicle that you want to get. And I went upstairs from that dinner, and I got on my knees immediately and I prayed. And I said, God, I didn't say, hey, God, can you give me what I need to get a vehicle to flex on my ex or to make the showboat? I said, hey, God, if you just bless me with this vehicle, I want to be a better nephew to my uncle, because my uncle might need ways to get the dialysis. I want to be a better uncle to my niece and nephew. I want to be able to spend more time with them. I want to take them to the movies when I can. God, can you at least bless me with what I need to bless others? And I lie to you not, bro. Oh, my brother, I got goosebumps as I'm saying this to you. I went downstairs, ate dinner, came back upstairs. My phone was on the charger. I seen 2 missed calls from Kwame. Kwame said, hey, man, remember how you looked out for me in 2019?
Oh, man.
Hey, bro, I'm on set of David Makes Man right now. That's directed by Terrell Alvin McCraney. Hey, bro, I just told him about you. Hey, bro, I remember you said you charge this much, but we're willing to pay you $1,200 for each shoe. You think you can make that happen, bro? And you know what? Just take your time. I went back downstairs at that dinner. I said, guess what, y'all? I got what I need. Chills to my body, yo. Chills to my body. I got what I need. That was in 2020. That's how I was able to get my very first vehicle. I just wanted to have that experience of how to. So anyway, I close with that. Your gift make room for you. And the very first gig that I got was $1,200 for each shoe. Which is an art piece. It's not a shoe. It's not a shoe that you wear, because guess what? When they collect that shoe, when they have it at the red carpet event on display, and as I continue to evolve in my name, you got these museums that make contact Doni and be like, hey, you still got Akio shoes from 2014? Because we want to pay you $1,000 to $2,000 or whatever stipend to house the art for 2 to 3 months. If you say, no, I started being in the gym with them because you consume, you didn't collect. Oh, no, I started like running in them. You consume, you didn't collect, because you didn't value the art. You didn't value the artist. You didn't value the story. You didn't value the signature. What was Basquiat's signature? The crown. What was Basquiat's signature? He drew it crayon. And that was paintings worth millions and billions of dollars. But why? He didn't see that. So we shouldn't discredit or dishonor our artists, because it creates value. Where we are, as you tell me, Doni, all the time, we are a people that always make nothing into something. And art is our very birthright. Anything can be art. The way you smile can be art, your gift. The way you talk can be your art. That's a gift. How are you sharing your gift with the world? The gift of conversation is the gift of gab. How are you sharing your gift with the world? Are you being selfish with it? Are you saying it's not mature enough? Okay, well, let it be mature. Let it be there's so many things that we can share our gift with the world. You know what I mean? But be not of the world, but make sure if you share your gift with the world that you are actually blessing the people that are in the world, so that way they can bless others. We can make an impact on others. You get what I'm saying? So the enlightenment of me being in my gift is the enlightenment, oh, wow, I can do it too. But when people feel like they don't have no hope, they want to take it from you. But nobody can ever take the impact that you have impacted on people's lives. That's why I keep talking about that moment when you and I were together in that room and you was like, yo, I need you to, hey, look, homie, I need you to show up to this, because and I was the only one that showed up. That was the gift of observation. That was the gift of exposure, and information changes situation. And, you know, you didn't throw me away, Donnie, because I wasn't talking. I tell people all the time, I wasn't talking like how I'm talking now. I had the fronts in my mouth. I'm talking like, and you just like, all right, brother, I see better in you, but it's going to take some time to chip away at this sculpture. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I'm grateful. I just turned 40 June 28th, and I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. You know, we Cancers. You know what I mean? My Cancer brother right here. You celebrated your B-Day. So yeah, man, we in there. We in there, man.
Any final thoughts for this interview?
Man, just continue the journey. You know, it's the Denzel Washington film where he was the Book of Eli, and he was just like, man, I gotta continue on the path. No matter what was on the path, he wanted to help people and all that too. He wanted to, but he had to continue the what he had set out to do, which was the mission. And we didn't know the whole time that he was blind. We didn't know the whole time that the Bible he had was in Braille. You know what I mean? So it's whatever mission that the Creator has placed on your heart, and you might still be in discovery of that mission, but it will find you.
Speaking of which, are you going to be an actor?
Very well, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I will. If I be an actor, it's the same ode that I owed to my mother, where she was a seamstress and I was designing clothes in her name. I feel like I owe my uncle at least one film. I owe him at least one film. So that's what I would do. When you see yourself in 5 years, I don't know, man. Like, God laughs at our plans. I'm all of how he wants to develop. Like, you got Community Development Center for the nonprofit and community development. I'm all for how he's developing me to be prepped. I can have my plan. I can have my 5-year plan, but, you know, he laughs at our plans, man. He's like, oh, okay, you planned that. Well, I got something greater. Whatever you plan, I got something greater for you. And so I used to be caught on to that as well, but I really don't know. But I'm definitely perfecting the now in every way that I can.
Oh, okay. Here's a better question to end off on. What's your advice to your young people? Because you've mentored young people, you've taught them artwork, but more than that, you've taken the time to pour love into them. You got me a little teary-eyed over here. Your message to young.
My message to young people, man, would be to really know that the time that you're really know that the time that you're living in is a blessing. You know what I mean? It's what I mean by that, I'm not just talking that just to talk. I was the kid that had the kerosene lamps in his house. My mother raised 3 kids me, my twin sister, and my older sister, 3 kids on her own. It was times that we were walking in her bedroom and she was having coins and dollars on the bed. And she looked at us with tears like, I'm sorry, y'all. She's trying to find out ways to feed us. So I've been there. Don't think that I'm just saying this stuff just to say this stuff. But that storm passed. You know what I mean? And I could have still lived in that defeat, and I could have been. So I would say this, excuse me, because I can go on a whole entire tangent. I just mentioned that because I have been there, and it may be rougher for you, but just know that there's opportunities out here, and we have to sometimes isolate ourselves from those who are not pouring into us. Because if we continue to hang around those individuals who are not pouring into us, you may not have that person in your close proximity, but find them. Find them. We have recreational centers, we have Jubilee Arts, you need to find them. And you need to help. People will help you. You know what I mean? But you got to want the help, and you got to look like a fool sometimes. You got to look like the oddball. You know what I mean? So I would just say that, you know, find your Avengers, find your community. Because as we know, I was talking this the other day at the commencement speech and yesterday when I was speaking, the Avengers had teamed up. What was that? They had community. And Tony Stark, he was the guy who had tried to, you know, fight Thanos on his own. Now he did, and he did win the battle, but when he snapped his fingers, it came at a cost of his own life. You can't do it alone. Know that you need community. I couldn't do it alone. Doni was a part of my community. C.D. Witherspoon ain't had me neither. He was a part of that community in that chapter. So you need that community. You need that Avengers. You need your people to help you up. Don't feel like you can do it alone. And if the people are not your people, you'll know. And you just got to make sure that you make it happen in the best way that you can. Because I was homeless. You know what I mean? In Phoenix, Arizona, I bumped my head a few times. I was hard-headed. But that got me nowhere. That got me nowhere at the time. It's got me somewhere because I had to learn eventually. So just find your tribe, find your people, find the people who can help you, and start from there. Start small, you know what I mean, and you'll get to the bigger win. But you gotta start small, you know what I mean. Sometimes you might need to put that phone down, you know what I mean. You need to guard your gate. You need to guard your mind gate when you very first wake up in the morning. What are you putting in your mind gate? What's feeding your mind? You know what I mean. I wrestle with it still to this day. I put my phone in the whole entire room because I don't want to look up to that. I give my first fruits to the Lord. I try to get my very first starts to God. Denzel said, make sure that when you wake up, you put the slippers underneath your bed so that way you can make sure you hit them knees. Because sometimes we forget. As I'm getting older, my knees is like, yeah, but I still, you know what I mean, get on my knees to do other things to, you know, try to find that phone, try to find that watch. So let me give God his time. You know what I mean? You put some time in, you're going to get what you're going to get out of it. And I would say that, man, be connected to the divine. And time is precious. So those who pour into you, definitely pay attention to them, because I was paying attention to the streets. I was filming the streets. I got all this footage of my dudes in the streets, and I got no footage, a lot of footage of my mom. I'm like, what was I doing the whole time? My mama had to tell me, Keo, you gotta stop talking to me like I'm an in on the streets, because I was on the streets all day. She said it in tears. I'm like, what's she talking about? But it was true. I was eating on green, I was smoking green, I would come home, and that was, and I will never forget that. So you got to be mindful who has authority over you. Do your guardians or your parents have authority over you? Or the streets have authority over you? You know, and we all know what the repercussions of the streets provides. You know, so I hope that helps, and I'm grateful that if you are listening out there to me, that I have your ear. I'm not just talking at you, I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? I'm talking right inside that joint. Doni talked. He didn't talk at me. He talked to me. He gave me the stern chin up, like, what? But we need more old folk to do that too. Because most of us now, we scared of these young kids, man. I tried to give you my best joint back, dog. I'm from East Baltimore. He was like, and? You know what I'm saying? What, you know, and so yeah, man. Thank you.
I love East Baltimore, man. You know that.
Yeah, we always had that. And you the best of the West, cancer of the West, or the best of the East. Well, how about that? Best cancer of the East. How about that, man?
Akio Evans, thank you for joining us. We pray that we touch somebody, inspire somebody, you know, gave somebody that spark, you know, because we all have something to offer. And I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you too, Doni. Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development, C.D. Witherspoon.
That's Mike Randolph down in, he from Sandtown, but he down there hanging in Tampa.
Salute to y'all. Salute to you, man.
He be watching the show so he can take our ideas and share it with Tampa.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Each one teach one. You know what I mean? So, yes.
Evans.
Doni,
thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Up to day, down to my day, and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, world.